Hello, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. Oh, that was bad. Oh, that was painful. All right, you know what? Just roll the normal music and we'll start again, shall we? Hello, welcome to 70 Years, Sorry, that hello was very aggressive. Hello, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is a podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with 70 straight weeks of spotlights on our favourite Muppet characters, from the most popular to the most obscure. I am this week's host, Jarrod Fairclough, and the Muppet of the Week is the Swedish Chef, originally performed by Jim Henson and later Bill Beretta, and designed by Michael Frith, making his world debut in 1975. Now, I figured for this episode, I might do it while I cooked a meal. In the vein of the Swedish Chef, just because I got a new cooktop recently, and I just found my good knives, which have been in storage since like February when I moved. So my specialty is honey soy chicken. So here I have some honey from the bees in the hive we have in our backyard. I have soy sauce, which is from the local Asian grocer. And now, the chicken. Come here, chicken. Ow! Get on the table. Here, chicky. Come on. Up here. No, don't go in the laundry. Get on the chopping block. No, come here. Ow! No, ow! Don't peck me, you little... Ow! Stop it! Go. Come on. Oh, no, not out the window, not out the window. Oh, damn it. What the hell am I going to cook now? You know, there's one meal I've always, been curious to try. One meat that I've always thought about trying to cook. I wonder if I make a call. Hey, Kynan? Hey, mate. Yeah, no, good. I'm wondering if you wanted to pop around for dinner. What are we having? You'll see.
One eternity later.
Okay, thanks for coming. I guess I better do the intro. My guest today is an accomplished writer and producer who has worked on some of Australia's best comedies, but he's also one of the original Tough Pigs and a wonderful friend of mine who has agreed to sit in this tub of steak rub for the duration of this episode. It's Kynan Barker. Kynan, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for having me at your place, which is surprisingly lavish.
Thank you.
For a guy of your limited means. And and whatever you've got on the stove smells delicious.
Oh, it's going to be, you just wait. It's going to be delicious. The Australians have taken over Tough Pigs.
And it's about time. And insert joke about upside down website here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because we're in a different hemisphere.
Kynan, can you just do me a favor as we do this and just marinate your arm in buttermilk for me? That'd be great. So we're talking about the Swedish Chef. Made his debut in 1975. Originally Chinese subtitles.
Yeah, which is was an interesting choice. And add some extra weirdness to a sketch that really didn't need much in the way of weirdness, because it's got a guy who is speaking mock Swedish. And one of those things where we're not really sure, is it racist now? Was it racist then? It was a different time. You could be racist on TV and it didn't really matter, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, just look at that whole episode. Who's the guest star? James someone? There's an episode of the thing which is just horrifically racist the entire time. Or the Spike Lee episode.
James Coburn, I think, is the one
James
you mean.
Coburn, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And yes, the Spike Milligan episode.
Milligan. Not Spike Lee.
he would have been great though.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I think the only ones that don't seem racist are Jerry Nelson's characters, because he's just so good and funny at them.
Yeah.
But as soon as you chuck in a Peter Sellers in the mix, you're like, ooh, that feels icky now.
Well, I couldn't figure out watching the granted, I didn't actually watch the original Swedish Chef video before this podcast. But is he introduced as the Swedish Chef, or is he introduced as a chef, or is he just
Uh, from what I saw on YouTube, I don't think he's introduced at all.
so in that case, is he meant to be like, is he almost talking like Chinese, or is he talking mock
Oh,
Swedish,
no.
or
It's mock Swedish. It's not quite the finished product, as a lot of Muppet stuff from those early pilots. He hasn't quite arrived at his hasn't achieved the epitome of Swedishdom, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I just can't tell if like for me, it has that feeling of it's like one of those weird things you would have just come across on, Japanese television or Chinese television, late at night one time, and it's almost like it doesn't quite fit into that Muppet world.
Yeah, except that, he's no, you're right. You're right. I was going to go in a different direction, but no, you're right. And part of that is like the sex and violence stuff, is that nothing really fits in the Muppet world, and they were still trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, it's just a mishmash of sketches.
Yeah. Now, hang on just one second, because there is a title that pops up on that first version, and it is, wait for it. Where's it gone?
One eternity later.
Ah, yes, it's so in his very first appearance on screen, along with the Chinese subtitles, is the phrase "Jan Vagskorsning," which is apparently railway crossings. So that is
Okay.
I think that's Swedish for the name of his show. So there you go, Swedish from the get-go.
Well, it's all a bit of a train wreck, so I guess that's what they're going for.
It is. It's just a mess.
Well, on that, I'm trying to figure out, because sometimes the Swedish Chef actually makes decent looking stuff. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. Is he actually talented and unlucky, or is he just an idiot?
His level of competence changes according to the needs of the sketch.
Yep.
He's a one joke character, which
Mhm.
is, to quote my son, who just watched some sketches with me, he does everything wrong.
He
The
does
Swedish Chef,
everything wrong.
he does everything wrong. Yeah, but he does it to a different degree of wrongness depending on the needs of the sketch. So he obviously knows how to make a souffle, but he manages to make it lighter than air, which I think takes extra skill. But on the other hand, he also puts like chocolate on an actual mousse. So he doesn't know how chocolate mousse works, but he knows how a souffle works. So like sometimes he's oblivious to his own screw ups, but then I think most of the time he's just out and out gleeful about inflicting harm.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily care about the result. He just really wants to kill a bunch of chickens and ducks.
Yeah, which I wouldn't know anything about. Can you just stick these clothes under your fingernails for me? But so what's the popcorn sketch from about 10, 12 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up at the start and says the Swedish Chef is a professional, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're sort of almost canonically saying, yeah, he is a professional. Granted, they don't say professional what.
Yes.
But he's obviously got some sort of training here.
Well, the other thing I watched is the Muppisode Food Fight, which was promoting Muppets Most Wanted, where he has a cook-off with Gordon Ramsay.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, the announcer announces him as Chef Swedish Chef, which strongly suggests to me that his name is Swedish Chef, not necessarily that he's a chef, up until that point.
Well, my next...
So it may not be his profession. It may just be nominative determinism. He was born to Mr. and Mrs. Chef. They named him Swedish, and so he sort of drifted into the kitchen.
That's interesting. Like my nephew's last name's Taylor. Does that mean is destined to become a tailor?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. Yeah,
he's 3, so
No, it's never too late to start molding him.
No, all right. Well, I'll get
or
on. He's currently away.
Or tailoring him.
Waka waka.
Thanks, Tim.
That's what he.
But okay, so like, if we're talking about his intelligence, he's he speaks Swedish, but
Mhm.
he's at least trilingual. He's got smatterings of French. He's
Mhm.
got smatterings of German. He
Mhm.
obviously understands English,
Mhm.
which actually means I guess he's quadlingual or whatever the right word for that would be.
Yep.
So he's a polymath. He just isn't necessarily competent at all of the stuff he knows.
No. So again, he probably is a professional something.
Yeah, and there's no reason to expect that just because he's a professional chef that he's going to be any good at it.
Correct.
You
Correct.
know,
But I mean, how much do you have to do something to become a professional? To call yourself a professional? So, like, I've done some puppetry, but not a lot, and I've been paid for it. Am I a professional puppeteer?
nah.
Probably not.
I spent 5 years behind the badge at Target, and I would describe myself as a professional retailer for sure. And I've still got that at the top of my resume.
Yeah, I mean, you've done some great stuff. So,
Yeah. But I leave it off to make room for the Target stuff.
yeah, no, fair enough
Yeah,
too.
but I
Just
did.
sorry,
What
before you make your point, can you just put these basil leaves behind your ears for me?
it's a little uncomfortable, but
Yeah,
yes.
sorry. Anyway, go on.
No,
What you
no,
were
no, that
saying?
is fine. There's a couple of things that make this chef unique in the Muppet world. Like,
Yep.
he's the only Muppet with human hands.
Yes.
He's the only Muppet who has attempted to cook and eat both Big Bird and Robin the Frog.
Yes.
Which is like, I feel like that's more horrifying than most of the Muppet on Muppet eating sketches. Like, it's
But
usually
yeah.
some sort of non-verbal or semi-verbal monster, like cartoonishly gobbling somebody up. You don't often see fully sentient Muppets openly planning to murder and garnish and cannibalize other fully sentient Muppets. Like,
Yeah.
from my understanding of the Law and Order franchise, that means he's got actual criminal intent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll put in the bomb just here so everyone because
I
everyone's waiting for
appreciate
it.
it.
Just hang on. There we go. Continue.
Thanks very much. I actually prefer it if you didn't put it in, but left in the bit where you said you're going to put it
Okay.
in.
All right, I'll do that. That's fair enough.
Hilarious.
Yeah, everyone can just pretend. Everyone knows what it sounds like. Well, you say he's the only one who's attempted to cook and eat Big Bird and Robin.
Hmm.
The only one we know of.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, the only one who's canonically attempted to do that. And
I wouldn't put it past Mr. Curly Twirly. I'm just saying.
but the other thing about him is that he's surprisingly nuanced for a one joke character. Like,
Yeah.
he's a joke bucket is what they call it in the TV biz. You just endlessly fill up this. He's a crazy chef. He eats other Muppets. He chases chickens around the room, and that's all he has to do. And he's actually funny every time. But also, like I say, he's just gleeful about attacking them. Sometimes he's got just a complete innocence to him. I mean, just the casual way he throws the utensils away.
Hmm.
There's nothing cruel about that. It's just a stupid thing to do. And he sings his little song, bork bork bork. One of my favorite moments in The Muppets Take Manhattan is his line in Somebody's Getting Married, which is wooting wooting piggy froggy wooting,
Hmm.
which is like, I don't think there's any other Muppet that could pull off that kind of joyful, like, innocence.
Yeah.
Like, if Bean Bunny sang a line that twee,
Hmm.
you'd be praying for the Swedish Chef to like skin him alive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there is just this um, this just sort of gleeful Barry Jim Henson sort of innocence to him, to
Yeah.
this like homicidal maniac of a character.
Yeah. Well, 2 points. The first being that you talk about him in Muppets Take Manhattan.
Hmm.
During that whole craze of 3D movies, like 10, 12 years ago,
Hmm.
every single time I saw a 3D movie, I went, "Ooh, the popping corn is 3D," like he does in that thing. And then I'd occasionally just, even now, I'll occasionally, if I get two like tubes or something, I'll put them in front of my face like he does the popcorn buckets and go doo 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 doo. Um, but you talk about him being a bit of a psychopath. He's also the only character I can think of that you almost root for and
Yep.
against, depending on the
Yes.
sketch. Like, yes,
Yep.
you want him to get those annoying lobsters who keep, coming through and trying to, shoot up the place. But
Hmm.
then you also root against him when he tries to kill Big Bird.
Yeah. Well, depends how you feel about Big Bird, but it's true. Like, yeah, you want the cute animals to survive. You want the mean animals to be killed and eaten, and also the inanimate stuff, which is obviously always animate anyway, but like I have surprisingly strong feelings about lettuce and cake when he's like shooting them with the boom boom.
Yep.
And yeah, and it's like it's classic comedy. It's like high status, low status, it's good guy, bad guy. And it's so weird that these sketches can get you taking the side of a chicken over a a foam rubber guy with eyebrows instead of eyes.
Yeah. I remember when I went and saw the 2011 film in cinemas, I was sat near a little girl who, when they get to the theater and he opens the fridge and he just gets a blowtorch and blows all the like fruit and veg and the food that's alive, this little
Yes.
girl was horrified because all this food pretty much just died on screen.
Yes, yeah. And if you've been watching Sesame Street lately, then you know that the fruit, all of the food is friendly. So yeah, it's just like this. It's this Looney Tunes quality to him that kind of carries over from Wilkins and Wonkins and Sam and Friends and stuff. And he's one of the only characters who still kind of keeps that up in the Muppet Show era and beyond. Like, I mean, Crazy Harry, I've probably forgot. Crazy Harry and I'm not sure who else would be doing that sort of stuff of just like firing cannons in people's face and
It's pretty much just those two that I can think of.
Yeah. So there is like, and for certain audiences that would be horrifying. Like if you watch, Wile E. Coyote now and you have any sympathy at all for Roadrunners.
Yeah.
But also for a certain segment of the audience, it is just cartoon fun.
Yeah.
And bigger cartoon fun than you would get from, the wordplay of Kermit and Fozzie, or the like surreal antics of Gonzo, or, a Miss Piggy karate chop. Right. Which is like, it's character-based violence as opposed to just gleeful diblundabus,
Yes.
shooting pancakes off the ceiling.
So I've had like numerous conversations with people over the years. If people go back and listen to the Great Muppet Fandom that I was on, our panel that I was on about probably 6 months ago or so, we had a really big conversation about Muppet violence and whether Muppet violence is funny, because some people are horrified that Miss Piggy karate chops, Kermit. For me, it's cartoon violence. It's fine. It doesn't really make much of a difference. Whereas, and it's the same for the Swedish Chef. Like, I have no problem if he blows up a, cake that's just spoken to him or something. Because again, I know this isn't real.
Yeah.
And I think with it being that cartoony, okay, maybe it's a little bit different because you can relate to Piggy and Kermit and you can sort of understand that dynamic. Whereas the Swedish Chef, no, he can just do whatever he wants because he's such a larger than life character.
I mean,
it's a cartoon.
Picture the horror of an English chef saying, "And now I'm going to cook and kill this chicken."
Yes, very good point.
Like it's maybe it's racist that he's speaking mock Swedish. I know in Sweden they turned him into, I think, the Danish chef because they don't like to. Yeah. But it's just the pure silliness. He talks really funny, and so he gets away with this, because he's like a puppy dog. He's like a big old puppy dog, and that lets him get away with a lot more stuff than if Miss Piggy were preparing frog's legs.
Correct. Just sorry, before I do this next bit, do me a favor, just get off that seat, and if you can just sit in this large tub of balsamic.
I've got to say, for those of you who obviously you can't see what's going on, but I like a platonic neck rub as much as the next guy, but I just I wouldn't use so much barbecue sauce.
Okay.
But this is cozy. This is cozy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so you talked about like, so at the start of the episode when I talked about the performers, that's before you came over for dinner. I said that he was originally performed by Jim and later Bill. I think I'm doing a bit of disservice though, because the hands are such a big part of the Swedish Chef. And
now,
originally Frank Oz, it was then Steve Whitmire. I believe it's now Peter Linz, if I remember correctly. They are such a big part of what that character does. I would argue, so for those who don't know, a lot of the time, I don't know if it's all the time, but a lot of the time, the hands would sort of do whatever they wanted. Frank would do whatever he wanted, and Jim would sort of they would know where they were going, a little Curb Your Enthusiasm style. They know where they were going, but Jim would sort of improvise with the hands
Mm-hmm.
and what the hands were doing, and Frank would improvise the hands with what Jim was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's
Famously in the Muppets, famously in the of Muppets and Men book,
yep,
Christopher Finch writes about it being a collaborative character.
yes,
He says it's one of the only Muppets who's actually performed by Jim and Frank. It's not a Jim character. It's not a Frank character. It's Jim and Frank. Now, I
hmm
believe that the official Tough Pigs position on that, as established by Danny Horn back in the
hmm
day,
hmm
is no, it's a Jim character. Frank just
hmm
did the hands. I respectfully disagree. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, specifically in the Jim and Frank era, it was a collaborative thing. It was Bert and Ernie in one body.
yes,
And the cutlery over the shoulder is the classic example of Jim looking back to see what Frank had just done. Yeah, so there's like, and there's that again. That comes down to that like improvisational glee that you get from those things where he's surprised by what he's doing because he's only somewhat competent, and the reason behind that is that he doesn't know what his own hands are up to.
yes. And I mean, like again, I talked about that popcorn short before. I asked you to watch it before you came over.
Mm-hmm.
That I would almost argue that I believe that's Steve Whitmire doing the hands for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost more a showcase for Steve than it is for Bill, because Steve is doing so much handwork in that. Like he's the one playing the saucepans, he's the one
Yeah.
turning the cranks, he's the one grabbing the blender out. He's doing all that sort of stuff, and it's all very timed and very particular.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just I watched
Is
it.
it one? Is it one take? I feel
Yes,
like it was one take. Yeah.
it's all in one take, so I don't know how many they had to do for it.
Yep.
But Steve has just got every single beat down, and it is pitch perfect, that sketch.
It's amazing, and like little details like when the bubbles start to come out of those pots, and he puts his hand on the pot, and it
Yeah.
hurts. Yeah, all the way down, like reaching up and hitting those ladles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the timing is perfect. It's one of the things. So, when you tell people you're a Muppet fan and people think that's hokey, or, they remember the Muppet Babies, or they're like, oh, yeah, that show was okay when my parents were kids. There's a few sketches that I like keep in my back pocket that I like to show people
Yeah.
to like demonstrate. No, they are really funny, and that's one of them.
Yep.
Johnny and Sal doing Bohemian Rhapsody
Yep.
is another one of them. Wait, is that the one they did?
Yeah, they
Sorry, I'm
did
trying to remember.
Bohemian Rhapsody
Did they do Bohemian Rhapsody on
on
a
the
Jerry Lewis
telethon. Yes.
Cool. So yeah, Johnny and Sal doing Bohemian Rhapsody on the Jerry Lewis telethon. I mean, then the modern Bohemian Rhapsody as well, which goes, and miscellaneous animal sketches. They're the things you pull out. But yeah, the Swedish Chef is absolutely evergreen. It's not something that ages the Muppets. You don't have to go, okay, so first of all, Cleo Lane was somebody. And now
Yes.
imagine if she was super famous, and then there's no context needed for him. It's just pure Muppet silliness, and it gets laughs every time.
So back in the day, like I remember, especially in high school, when people would say, I'll for whatever reason bring up the Muppets, and people would say, "Oh yeah, I have a VHS of like some Disney movie or something like that," and it
Mm-hmm.
had a Swedish Chef sketch on the end, and it was always the spaghetti one,
Right.
where the spaghetti comes for him. And so a lot of people I know, that's their go-to sketch. They think Swedish Chef, they think the spaghetti thing. I mentioned the Swedish Chef recently. I'm now working for a company that does cooktops and stuff like that. And I mentioned the Swedish Chef to my boss, and my boss went, "Which one's he again?" Now, it's weird to even ask that, because I'm like, he's the Swedish Chef one. But I pulled up a sketch, and
if you
he's
can
like,
picture the word Swedish and chef, and then put them together.
And he immediately he goes, "I haven't thought about this character in 30 years." He goes, "I remember him playing basketball with a chicken. Is that something he did?" And I was like, "Yes, it was." And I pulled
The
that
Chicky and
sketch
the
up.
Bursky.
The Chicky and the Bisky. And he's like, so it is. And so I find Chef as along with Beaker and Animal
Hmm.
are people's
Hmm.
favorite Muppets and the Muppet they relate to. And it's funny because people don't realize that those three are like the Leprechaun brothers, like that those three are sort of
Yes.
a little trio almost.
Yep. 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 The non or semi-verbal, like just pure silliness. And he's a real gateway. He's a memory gateway for the Muppet Show. Even for me, and I think about the Muppet Show a lot. But the music, the Swedish Chef theme song, and I
Yep.
don't know, I want to say clarinet. I have no idea about music, but that particular theme song, and probably the At the Dance song as well,
Hmm.
they are probably more evocative of childhood Muppets to me than the actual Muppet theme song. Like
Okay.
you hear that is immediately I'm back in the living room as a 7 and 8 year old
Yep.
watching the Muppets, watching Pigs in Space, watching those two old guys who always fall out of the balcony is how my brain uh,
Yeah.
um, encapsulated that show. Yeah,
Because it happened like once.
it happened once. Yeah, so we probably saw it repeated.
Yeah, nice. Is that the first time your son had seen Swedish Chef, or have you showed it to him before?
Yeah, I tried to show him some Beaker and Bunsen, and he wasn't that into it. That might have just been timing. But he certainly he's into certain bits of Sesame Street. He likes the Kermit the Frog t-shirt sketch.
Yep,
He was able to meet Elmo and Abby
he
last year, which
was.
was a
Yes,
very, very big moment for him.
yes.
Although he doesn't actually care to watch Sesame Street, he enjoys, and it pains me to say this, he really enjoys Mecha Builders
Oh,
more than original Sesame. And like if you watch enough Mecha Builders, you build up a tolerance, and now it's kind of cute. But it's not classic Sesame.
no. No, yes, you sent me the video of your son meeting Abby and Elmo. It was very, very cute. And
Well,
I,
yeah, look, he's Remy Henson. For those who don't know, that he's got the middle name Henson, and so it was probably more important to me than to him that he meet Abby and Elmo.
yeah,
Yeah, put a lot of prep into him meeting them. Like, I didn't want him to get clam up and suddenly go behind my legs and not say
yep.
anything. That part played out. Did zero prep for the fact that the meeting would end. Had no had he was just inconsolable for about 4 hours.
Oh, poor little buddy. My 3-year-old nephew loves Cookie Monster,
Mm-hmm.
and so I promised him next time I meet Cookie Monster, I'll bring him.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, Again, I think he'll be great. I think he'll be the same. So I might have to call you beforehand and be like, how'd you deal with the
It's
what could
all
you have
about
done differently?
it's all about expectations management. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. When they're there, make sure you ask about all of your questions, and then when you finish and you say goodbye to them, then we're going to go and get ice cream and spend the rest of the day in a play center. And
Yeah.
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All the horrible things you do when you've just let your kid down and you've got no parenting skills left,
Yes.
or uncling skills.
True. Well, the plan is probably to bring my mother with me so that
Oh, brilliant! There you go.
Mama, as he calls her, Mama, can go and deal with the fallout because I've got an interview to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I just very quickly, this isn't a Sesame Street podcast, so we'll move on in a moment. But I will just quickly say, what do people need to search to find? So you got to direct a very cool video with Abby and Elmo, and an Australian comedian called Tom Gleeson.
That's a good question. Let me really quickly pull it up
On the old YouTubes.
on the old YouTube. I don't know if it is on YouTube. Hang on a second.
One eternity later.
All right, there you go. It's Elmo and Abby Cadabby take over hard quiz. It's from ABC TV iView. I can't guarantee that it is actually available overseas.
Yeah, but people can find it.
It might be
People,
geo blocked. Yeah,
people will make
but
it
it is
work. We have
Elmo
a
and Abby
history of
Cadabby.
that.
Yeah,
We have no history of that here in Australia. Things being geo-blocked. I don't know what a VPN is.
I can't condone it. I can't condone getting around the geo blocking of my own employee of my own employer. But on the other hand, it is a pretty cool. On the other hand, it's a pretty cool sketch.
It is.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm slurring my words a little bit. I'm getting really hot and sweaty in here, and frankly, you're getting Worcestershire sauce in my eye.
Yeah,
So
look, I'm sorry. If just look, I promise it won't go much longer, mate. Just rub this lemon and garlic on your legs for me, and it'll all be over shortly.
mm-hmm.
My last sort of thing I thought, and I probably should have asked Bill Beretta this, but I didn't think about it until about 5 minutes before you popped over. I've always wondered, and you might know, how do they write these sketches? Are they
Do you
written
know? I don't know. I
like
don't know if they're written in mock Swedish or if they're just written in
English,
English.
or if it's more just stage directions on this happens and this happens and this happens, and Bill just improvises the whole thing? Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to Bill after we finish, after I've finished eating, we finished eating, and ask, and if he responds, I'll record something and put it here. And if you hear silence for the next couple of seconds, he never got back to me. Oh, hello, folks. Jarrod here. I did, in fact, email Bill and ask him how the Swedish Chef scripts were done. And I got an answer from him very, very quickly. So this is from Bill. It says, "Hi. The preference is to have the script written as you normally would, with the action, screen direction, and dialogue in English, so that the intention of the scene is clear, and then I chefize it." So that's from Bill. And apparently, it's called chefizing. Okay, back to my meal. Well, look, that's probably it for this chat. I just want to thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Something smells amazing, and this is awkward. I don't know how to bring this up, but Jarrod, I have a theory that you are trying to cook me.
Don't be ridiculous. Can you just step into this giant oven for me?
Yeah, I gotta go.
No,
I gotta
don't.
go.
But don't
I'm gonna
go.
I'm gonna get some McDonald's, I think.
Don't. But don't.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. All right. No. Well, I don't know what I was supposed to eat now. I might just have some butter noodles or something. I'll boil the water while I do the credits. 70 Years, 70 Muppets is a Muppet Fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. Hosted by a whole myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Jarrod Fairclough. The Muppets 70 logo used with permission by the Muppet Studio, with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reif Snyder and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms. You can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or buying a t-shirt at tpublic.com/toughpigs.